Hello everyone, it's Lel and it's time to talk about episode 8 from Wonderful PreCure. Wonderful PreCure so far has been a season that has had a lot of events concerning the PreCure side of things. We know a lot about Nico Garden, even though we don't know a lot. We've been seeing a lot of it. We've been seeing a lot of the magical part of this season. But this episode did not bring it. And I feel like maybe Wonderful PreCure will step on the brakes and take things a little slower from now on, which is normal. A PreCure season usually spawns 47 to 50 episodes, so there's a lot of time to tell the PreCure story. And while we're dealing with the characters, we need time to deal with those things. And I feel like what Wonderful PreCure is doing really well is to focus on the characters. It is, for me, the most interesting aspect of the season so far. It's been doing really well, and I feel like this episode was no different. Mayu's first day at school is a very important day, especially for someone who is very shy like her. And I feel like there's one aspect of Mayu that I have been starting to notice now that I haven't really noticed before, which is she is very shy. She is someone who has a hard time building connections with other people, but she likes those connections. She wants to have friends. She wants to be able to live a good school life. It's not that she has a hard time, but she doesn't care. She wants it. She wants to have friends at school. So for her, it's not only the shyness, it's also the fact that she wants to have friends. And that aspect has kind of lost me so far, and I noticed it clearer in this episode, and I really like this aspect about her character, and I also like the way that she overthinks things. It makes a lot of sense for someone who is very anxious like her, and I also love her relationship with Yuki. The way Yuki really makes her feel relaxed, makes her feel calm, makes her feel right at home. And when she was nervous, right at the start, when she was training her speech, she was able to get back on her groove by, hugging Yuki very closely to her. And I love Yuki's faces. One of the things that I'm loving about Yuki is her facial expression. Her face card is everything. And, everyone who's been working on animation has been killing it with the character expressions this season. Yuki and Komugi, they're animals, so it's not exactly the same thing, but they have a lot of expression, so I think they are killing it. And it's the same with Iroha and Komugi. They already have more of an established relationship for us, the viewers. We know them more. And right at the start, we see Iroha going to school and Komugi wanting to go with her. The way Komugi acts and the expressions in Komugi's face is so good as well. And I just have to say it again. The animators really killed it in this episode, especially, again, in the human part. The PreCure part, I don't know. I feel like what really matters here, at least to me, in Wonderful is the human thing, the human aspect of it, and the animal aspect of it, obviously. So when the school day starts, we see a scene of Iroha with Satoru. Iroha remembering that in the first episode, she asked the stone that they could be in the same class, and they are. Satoru gets all flustered, gets all shy because of it. It's so sweet. I really like the designs of the classmates. They look very cute. And there's an interesting aspect of the female clothing at school, the school uniform. They can use a skirt or they can use shorts. Very nice. And I really think the design is nice, cool. And another design I like is the teacher. A hot man in my eyes. And so we see Mayu trying to introduce herself. She obviously has a very hard time trying to do that. She reads a word in the board and she mixes it up with what she was thinking. She has a hard time doing it. And this is very characteristic of people that overthink stuff. things never go their way. There's always the life aspect, to get you and to make you do something different than what you were expecting. It's impossible to predict everything in life. But as the animal aspect of Wonderful PreCure is the most important thing, what saved her? Two things saved her. The first one was Iroha. She already has a bond with her, and Iroha has been around Mayu quite a few times, so she knows how Mayu is, or she knows at least a little bit about Mayu, so she was able to step in and help her. And then she used Yuki, her cat, as a bridge between her and the new classmates, and she was able to use that bridge so that they could be able to connect. And it's always nice to see the way she talks about Yuki, because it just goes to show how much she likes her, and the bond between them is very strong. The bond between the animal and their owner has to be strong for Wonderful PreCure to work. That is why I believe that we might have something like that in the opposite side, a bond that is not strong between the owner and their animal, and something happened to the villain side or to Nico-sama, Nico Garden. I don't know. I feel like the opposite can be present in this story because it just makes sense with what Wonderful PreCure has been bringing us. And so Mayu was able to talk a little bit about Pretty Holic as well. So she was able to introduce herself nicely, and not the way she envisioned. She made some mistakes in her mind, but at the end of the day, everything was fine. The other students were interested in her, but Iroha took her to do something else. In the meantime, we have Komugi. Komugi does not want to stay at home, so she transforms into a human and she goes after Iroha at school. She doesn't know where the school is, so she uses her dog powers, and it's just very funny. As I said, the animation really killed it. I loved those scenes with Komugi, just hopping around the street, trying to find Iroha, but also getting lost because of all the smells of the food and everything. So funny, and it's very dog-like, I think. It was super, super fun. But then she meets Yuki in Pretty Holic, which is a place she already knew. And it's funny because I feel like this episode should have been named Yuki's Bullying Session. Everyone's been bullying Yuki. Stop that. Hashtag Yuki Defenders. And so Komugi wants to play with her. Komugi wants to spend time with her. Yuki does not want to. She is pissed. She is bored. She does not want to spend time with that dog, that annoying dog. And she tries to go away. Komugi does not understand. She thinks that Yuki is playing with her. Oh my god. And then at school, we see Iroha with Mayu, and she takes her to an animal sanctuary at school. And there, Satoru is there. And Satoru is part of the biology club, which is something that makes so much sense for his character. It just helps bringing the characteristics. And I really feel like Wonderful is doing a good job with that, because he is working like the one thing he likes, which is animals. He knows a lot about animals. So it just makes sense, and it makes the characterization of his character stronger. I love it. And there's also a point of connection between Mayu and Satoru. Satoru is a PreCure helper. We know eventually Mayu will become a PreCure. So I just feel like there is a good reason for them to start bonding now, or at least getting to know each other. They don't have a strong bond or anything, but a starting point was necessary. And then after a while, a Garu appears. Iroha is alone at school. She's not able to transform. But then Komugi, while she was a dog, she transforms and becomes a human in front of Yuki's eyes. So far, Yuki has met Komugi as a human already, but she mostly interacts with Komugi as a dog, but now she sees the dog transforming into a human for the first time, and she is shook. Girl, we got a reaction from Yuki that is not being pissed and that is not being bored. Ooh, girl, I love that. And I also like the fact that both Mayu and Yuki are like somehow connected to the main cures of the season so far. And it brings a point of connection for them for the future. And then Komugi joins the fray and they get each other. I mean, Iroha gets her and like, come on, we can't transform here. And they find a space for them to transform. We don't have a proper dual transformation, but we do have like the overlapping transformations. It's just like every other season, nothing special about it. But we have a roll call at the end with both of them. And while I do think the roll call was a bit boring, I really like the final pose. It feels very eventful. It feels very lively. I love the poses. And I also love the ribbon with a dog in the middle. I wonder if we're not going to have a 4-girl group pose. Instead, we might have 2 and 2, the dog duo and then later the cat duo. I believe those two are possible. And then, as I said, I feel like the PreCure part of Wonderful PreCure really lacks. The lack of combat, like I don't like it. I don't like this choice. Like it's a choice. And I don't really think it's interesting. They were able to make it interesting in some episodes. This one, it wasn't it. It wasn't it. Even though we had some funny faces and some cute moments, it wasn't it. The one interesting thing, though, was Komugi using, or Cure Wonderful, using the friendly tact or friendly wand and using the Kirin Lion's power, because I think it looks super, super cute. I love the lion boots with the fire behind. Very, very cute. Like visually, it worked so well. Hashtag justice for Kirin Penguin. That's the only one that looks bad so far. And so like they were just able to come to the front of Garu Garu and say, let's return to Nico Garden. And, you know, it stopped running and they purified it. And that was it. But the horse was very cute, though. After they purified it, it was very cute. Very, very nice. And so at the end of the episode, we had what was to me the best scene of it all. So Mayu gets home and she starts talking to Yuki about things that happened at school. She talks about Iroha. She says that everything went well. They didn't go her way, but they went really well. She had a lot of fun with everybody. And then at the end, Yuki goes to the window and Mayu does not understand what she's doing. And then when Mayu pulls up the curtain and opens the window, she sees the sun on her face and she finally understands. Yuki is showing her that now she found a new way, a new path, a new way to see life, a new way to live life. She is now excited to go to school. She will fumble. Lots of times we know that. We, people who are anxious, know that she will fumble. But she's feeling good about it. She is feeling a little bit more confident in going to school, maybe making new friends. So I love that scene. It was very simple, but it's so great seeing a character like Yuki do that, just like little action. And, you know, in her way, totally different than Komugi, show how much Mayu matters to her. It's different, but it's so nice. And it's so on brand for Yuki. She seems to be very smart and very her own pace. And she lives in her own world. Don't touch my world. You know, only if I let you. And I really like that about her character. I cannot wait to see Yuki. But next week, we're going to see Komugi going to school. And oh my God, the chaos will ensue. As I said, I'm not really enjoying the PreCure part. I mean, I'm enjoying the lore part of it. I'm really enjoying Nico Garden, Mei Mei, and everything. I'm not enjoying the chase scenes at all. I feel like they're very bland. But I am enjoying everything else from Wonderful PreCure, especially the characters. They are so well done. Everything feels so well thought, so well written, so connected. I'm having a lot of fun. And episode 8 just proved that. And I really love Mayu and Yuki. Cannot wait to see them in the show. I feel like it's going to take a while, especially now that it seems that Wonderful PreCure, will step in the brakes a little bit and take things a little slower. That's how I felt. Might be wrong though. Let's wait and see. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member here on YouTube, on Patreon, if you support me on Throne, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.